How much do you know about the history of the Sabbats, or the Wheel of the Year? You probably know that Gerald Gardner invented it in the 1950s. There's actually a lot more history there. To start, we have to sort of go back a couple hundred years in Europe and talk about the systemic anti-Semitism that led to the witch trials. Now, of course, there was genuine fear of witchcraft, but there was also this layer of anti-Semitism that saw Jews as inherently demonic, evil, connected with Satan. So much so that Jews were often depicted with horns, hooves, spiked tails. They believed that Jewish men were so intrinsically evil that they menstruated from their anus and that they had to drink Christian blood in order to cure themselves of the plague of being Jewish. You might be thinking, what does that have to do with the holidays? A lot, actually. Christians believed that the Jewish Sabbath, which is from Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown, was actually an evil time because the Christian Sabbath was Sunday. And so when witches would meet, when would they meet? By the way, witches being Christian members of society who have turned away from Christ and turned to the devil, which is different from Jews who were seen as inherently demonic. So as we think of all this anti-Semitism, what did they call it when witches started meeting? The witches' Sabbath. In German, Hexensabbat. In French, they would often call it a witches' synagogue. Now let's go back to Gerald Gardner. We all know that he was obsessed with this scholar, Margaret Murray. Her work has been completely debunked academically. It's not believed. She basically believed that there was a pre-Christian religion of witches who all believed in the same stuff, all worshiped the same gods and goddesses. No such religion exists. The witch cult does not exist. But Gerald Gardner was like, yes, and Wicca, the religion I'm making, that is actually the remaining vestige of this pre-Christian witch cult. Again, no such cult existed. But Margaret Murray published in her book that there were 4 important holidays to these witches, where there was always a witch's Sabbath, or a Sabbat, which comes from Hexensabbat in German. And so he took the 4 that she mentioned in her book and were like, these are the holidays of my new religion. And eventually things like the equinoxes were added in, and those were named in 1974 by Aidan Kelly. So then we've got Mabon and Ostara, and he eventually named Letha. So that's where the Wheel of the Year really comes together. So yeah, a little bit of history on the witches' Sabbats. Citations are in the description, and tell me what you want me to talk about next.